Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. Hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts and see what the story is and what it may be. Alright, so we're doing an early one today, and we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, of course, Solana, the position we're still in, and we're going to go over Uniswap, which I closed out this morning. And then we'll go over a few other assets, and we'll see what opportunities are forming. I do believe that a lot of short opportunities are going to be emerging as the bullish bias starts really ramping up with the retail traders and investors. So let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, of course, still in the wedge, but finally making that move, that we've been eyeing for the past couple days, really a week. To the upward region of the wedge, the 44K to the 44.5K zone, and that, like I've said before in the previous videos, that is the zone where I'll be thinking about taking partial profits or taking off the full position. One of my reasonings of maybe taking off the full position is I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to begin a short position at the top of the wedge. One of the things that's stopping me is Bitcoin and crypto in general tends to be a lot more emotional, so the swings tend to be a lot more extended out. So there's a good chance that this wedge could break upward and go towards like the 46, 45K, and maybe even like 48, and if it's really wild, like tap 50K. To me, that's not bullish still. Okay, because nothing's really changed with the structure. All that would happen is the pattern gets invalidated, all right, but the structure is still bearish. All right, the only time what will change my view of this structure, the bias to the downside would change, is if 54K is retaken and held above 50,000. See, if that were to happen, then the structure's changed. Okay, it's likely bottomed out here. All right, hitting the low of 30,000 or 33,000. And then we're going to make a new run towards all-time highs, and whether we pass or not, we cross that bridge when we get there. In that sort of structure, it's likely we would make new all-time highs. So you don't want to get ahead of the game, and you don't want to impose your biases on the market. You just want to let the chart show you what's happening, and you go from there. So nothing has changed in my book until 54K is taken and we are decisively holding above 50K. Okay, so just take that with the proper context that, hey, this wedge can break to the upside. It happens, but it doesn't invalidate that, hey, we're going lower. Of course we can still go lower, and we're still more likely to go lower. Always side on the air where the probabilities are highest. All right, and if you want like a lesson in that, you don't have to get that from me. Of course, like I've always said, everything I do you can find freely. You can find it in Investopedia.com, a great website, a great tool, and you can read. You can read plenty of books. If you want a couple books like recommendations from me, I would say the most helpful book I've ever read was Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. That is, I think, the most important book if you're going to rank any book. I don't think books will give you the answers. It's mostly experience. And I also like Dow trend theory. So you can start researching Dow trend theory, and that really teaches you market structure and what those structures mean and how they most often play out. Okay. So again, we're at the top of the wedge zone. We're going to be looking to take off some profits here at the least, maybe all of it. And then whether I start opening up short, of course, I will alert the Discord. For the Patreon members, I don't really want to give short calls for the free members. One of the reasons why, it's not that I dislike the free members, it's that shorts inherently are more risky. And if you're taking shorts with me, I really urge you to follow my risk advice. And if you're not going to follow my risk advice, I would hope that you have enough experience that you know how to control your risk to your own preferences. Okay, because shorting is a lot different than longing or just buying the asset. I mean, because again, theoretically you can just lose all your money shorting, and like I said, crypto is very emotional, so the swings can be really brutal. So you got to make sure you know what you're doing in regards to shorts, and I don't want to expose the free members to that. So for free members, of course, you're still going to get your call outs. I'm just going to be more focused on looking for longing or, buying of the asset opportunities on really, blue chip, high volume, high liquid crypto plays. Okay. So again, I think we went over Bitcoin. Again, nothing's changed. It's all going according to plan as of now. And, so good. So far, so good. And, we're in good profit. All right. And let's take a look at Solana, because we're still in Solana, and it's hit my target zone. I was looking for $100 to 101. One of the reasons why I'm keeping it open is because we took profits off Uniswap. Great trade on Uniswap, and it gives us a lot more room to play with Solana. To let Solana breathe some more. And again, that's the beauty of this strategy, being able to really control your risk and have different exposures for different assets. Gives you a lot of nimbleness, lets you be really fluid. So now that we have very little exposure to crypto in general, I believe it's like 14% in total, 10% Bitcoin, maybe 4% Solana. We can let Solana breathe and try and grab a big move. I mean, we're already up. Let's see where we're at. So if you're in the trade with me, we're approximately up about 14%. We'll just go, let's scale it down. We'll say 13%. All right. And that's great, and again, I've always said, I like Solana at $100, but 104, 105, I've said, has always been a pretty high probable zone for it to get to. And if Bitcoin shows, real strength going into 44,000, making a play for 44,500, then look for the 115 and maybe even the 120. All right, and if Bitcoin sustains above 44K, you really could see a big move on Solana towards like 136. Okay, again, that's not what I want to target for the long. I would much rather take a short. Towards the 140 zone. All right, and I'm gonna go over the problem child Cardano, because I'm also eyeing that for a possible short. Remember, as this stuff breaks out, Bitcoin, crypto, the retail trader investors hop in. All right, and you don't want to immediately start going against them. You want to start scaling into the opposite end of the trade. Take your time, be patient, just slowly but surely get onto the opposite end of where they're going. And you will more times than not be on the right side of the market. And again, you'll be in your own flow. And like I said in the previous video, which I urge everyone to watch that if they haven't, I go over mental health and what it means for just, in trading. That sort of zone being slowly flowing to the drum of your own beat. You are in a very, very nice kind of Zen state. Not much can shake you in the market. Really nothing. All right. So again, Solana breaks through. It's confirming. So it's confirming the breakout from the trend line here, the descending trend line. Again, I've gone over my definition of what a true trend line breakout is in my book, but you're seeing it here. Breakout, closing above the trend line for this daily candle, and then the following daily candle is going to close above this daily candle wick. All right, so that's what you want. Close above the last daily candle's high, and to me that confirms at the strongest indication that this trend line is truly broken. All right, and that's a very conservative look at trend line breaks. If you want to be more aggressive, you would have taken this trade. If you weren't in the trade already, you would have taken this long, and you'd be well in profits already as well. Again, everyone has their own style, their own personalities. The most important thing is that you take the risk into those decisions, the risk assessment to those decisions, and understand your probabilities, and you'll be okay. All right. So let's look at Uniswap, because that's the position we closed this morning, and it was a great trade. I mean, it was a fabulous trade. And I was a little worried yesterday, admittedly, when I was looking at it and I was doing the video on it. It came so close to our target, our original target of $10.30. It was like 5 cents away. I was like, that stings, because like if it starts reversing down here, it would have been pretty painful. But again, like I said in the video, that's why controlling your risk is really important, because then it's not as bad. Right, it's just not as bad. You don't have as much risk. You don't feel like, at least I don't feel like I would have lost as much. So it was okay, but it definitely was like a pride thing. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with that. So that last daily candle was actually looking like a reversal candle. It was really low here on the daily candle, but you know, going into the final hours of yesterday for the daily candle, we had a nice buy up, and it closed well over, I would say about 60% of the candle was of that wick was taken back. So you know, it was a very nice win for the bulls, and we're seeing those rewards now today with this candle. And we ended up closing a bit well above our target. I mean, I was looking for 10.30. We were able to get out around $10.45, $10.46, which is great. You know, I was targeting the 10.30 and 10.50 zone anyway, so this worked out perfectly. It is coming into resistance, but again, like I said in the previous videos, if Bitcoin does continue to show strength, especially as it gets closer to 44.5, should that happen, do not be surprised if you see $11 uni, and maybe even like $12, you know, if it gets really strong. All right. And it also matters, you know, how long Bitcoin stays above 44K. You know, the longer it does, the more bullish impulse you're going to have. All right. Let's look at Luna before I look at Cardano, because I went over Luna last episode, and oh good, I kept the drawing. Okay, and I was explaining why this isn't a bull flag, and I just want to go over it just a little bit more. Okay, so a lot of novice traders or inexperienced traders, again, this is not to knock anyone, everyone goes through these learning curves. I went through it plenty times. It take you, unless you're a genius, it usually takes a couple of times for you to get the hang of this, to burn your hands and know it's hot. But and most people aren't geniuses, and most of the time geniuses still burn their hands too. It's just how fast we learn from those mistakes. And you know, most novice traders would have seen this structure overall as being bullish, and I explained in that last video, the last video from this one, I urge you to watch it, that this isn't bullish, that this has a bias to the downside, it's more bearish, and that this in of itself right here is more of a bearish flag structure. Okay, so I just want to look back at it and see where we're at. So we're right in the middle, and you were getting bids, okay? Because right here, so if you want to go micro, like this right here is a bullish setup, right? You can see this is a bullish setup. So if you go on the lower time frames, let's see, let's go on the 1 hour. Actually, yeah. So this technically would be seen as a bullish setup. The only thing that I would think, in my opinion, that somewhat is kind of making it not as such is this wick. But in crypto, so this is where crypto is difficult to chart to a degree, because crypto is so much more emotional. Things do swing a little bit more, and that's why I do like to stick to the daily when I come to look at patterns. Not that the lower time frames don't work, it's just that everything swings a lot more, and sometimes you do have to ignore wicks just to try and get the general sentiment of what's happening. All right, so like this here is a bit of a bullish consolidation off of this candle. Okay, it's not the cleanest thing, but here's a good lesson. When you have a much smaller time frame pattern within a larger time frame pattern, the larger time frame pattern reigns supreme. Okay, the smaller time frame pattern can attribute to the either the confirmation of the larger time frame pattern or the invalidation of it. All right, so let's just say this, let's just call this a bull flag, right? Off the 4 hour, breaks up, and it confirms above this bear flag off the daily. Well, it attributed to the invalidation of the larger pattern. But more likely than not, what happens, these smaller time frame patterns either invalidate, they don't happen, or when they happen, they get stunted. So it breaks out, fails, and then starts coming back down. So you want to keep that into account. So if you're looking to trade on smaller time frames, make sure you keep into account the emotional ride you go on. Like, look at this. This is pretty brutal. So if you're trying to play this, if you know what you're doing, it can be really great. You have a lot of movement, but you do have to be careful of how emotional this is. All right. So it's definitely something to keep your eye on in regards to Luna, but nothing has changed with its structure, and I am leaning bearish on it. All right. I am leaning bearish on it, especially since I am still midterm bearish on Bitcoin even now. This is all within the time frame we've been discussing. And let's take a look at Cardano. So I do want to take a look at Cardano. Beautiful, beautiful breakout. I mean, absolutely fabulous. And this candle right here is very strong. All right, very, very strong. Like I said, it's been the problem child for us, but it really redeemed itself. So you can't be too upset at it anymore. It's decided to enter society. But look at this move. This is getting really extended. All right. And in my experience, after a couple days to a week, when you have consecutive candles in the same direction, especially really elongated candles, you're going to get close to points of exhaustion. All right. Whether the exhaustion's here at $1.21 or it's going to go a little higher towards, let's see, like $1.30. That's another good resistance zone, and then maybe even $1.40 if if there's a lot of momentum in the market. This is looking like a great short opportunity. All right, this is looking like a great place to start aiming for short entries if this continues to extend out. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if you're looking to go short with me. You start seeing big candles like this. That's okay. Resistance zones, significant resistance zones do get respected. So don't be worried. Yes, things break past them, but they usually almost always come back. And again, that's why you want to control your risk. Don't put 100% or 50% or even 25% of your account in that single position. Treat it like a starter position and know that you're very likely to add on to it later. It will start small, but the position will get larger, and by the time it's large enough to make you feel like, wow, I can make good money on this, well, you're in a much better position. Okay? So I think that's about it. I don't really have much more I want to go over because a lot of coins are starting to get extended. Okay, like it's going to be the same story. Like Link is a good one. Again, maybe $18, maybe higher. It's all going to be really predicated on what Bitcoin does as it's entering the zone that we're looking at. All right, and if Bitcoin starts stalling out here, well then that's going to be a great time to start looking for shorts, not just on Bitcoin but on other altcoins that will continue to swing up as that's happening. Remember, everything is emotional in crypto. Bitcoin is the least emotional, and it's very emotional, and altcoins percentage wise always move a couple times more than Bitcoin will. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you want to be a part of the group, come join the Discord. The link will be in the description below. If you're interested in tutoring or anything like that, take a look at the Patreon. If you don't want to go through the Patreon, I do have some crypto options. Again, that's all in the Discord. And if you do want to try and get a better grasp on charting, I am planning to do like live sessions in the Discord. Like where I stream my screen. So even for the free members, I want it to be, it's not gonna be all the time, and it's not gonna be super often, but it'll be from time to time, and I'll try to do it where I think most people are either off from work or they have free time. That way, I can do like a general viewing of the market, show some basic techniques, and if you're interested in learning more, and you want more one-on-one tutoring and stuff like that, you can visit the Patreon or just DM me and we can talk about it. Okay. So again, everyone, take care, have a great day, and always remember, be vigilant, be patient, and be nimble. Take care, everyone. Bye.